There are various types of stories that we share with each other. Some are meant to frighten and exploit our fears and insecurities for entertainment purposes. Others serve as cautionary tales, believed to protect us or create the illusion of safety. However, there exist stories that combine elements of both. Today, we will delve deeper into one such legend that has evolved from a cautionary tale into an urban legend. With the recent release of the film The Curse of La Llorona, it is an opportune time to explore the legend we previously discussed in greater detail. La Llorona, primarily found in Mexican folklore, derives its name from Spanish, meaning the weeping woman. The exact origins of La Llorona are unknown, but her story has existed since the 16th century during the time of the conquistadors. Today, she has become a well-known urban legend, a ghostly figure of a thin woman dressed in white or black who weeps as she wanders near lakes and creeks, seeking children to drag into a watery grave. Growing up, many Hispanic individuals might have heard warnings about La Llorona from their parents or grandparents, similar to tales of Lamia, Baba Yaga, or the Boogeyman. La Llorona was primarily a cautionary tale told to children. However, she wasn't always depicted as a ghostly figure who drowned children in the river. There are multiple explanations or backstories surrounding how she became the weeping woman. As the name suggests, these stories are far from happy. In most versions, La Llorona is referred to as Maria, a woman who came from a poor background. One story we will discuss involves Maria marrying a wealthy man with a questionable past, characterized by alcoholism and infidelity. Despite these flaws, Maria loved him with all her heart and hoped he would change for her. Initially, he showered her with attention and gifts, but this didn't last long. After Maria gave birth to their 2 sons, her husband reverted to his womanizing ways and turned to alcohol to fill the void Maria once occupied. He would leave her and their boys alone for months without explanation, eventually expressing disinterest and announcing his intention to leave her for a woman of higher social standing. Devastated, Maria reached her breaking point during a walk by the river. Spotting her ex-husband in a carriage with a younger, more beautiful woman, he paid no attention to Maria except to speak briefly with their children before driving off. Overwhelmed with rage, Maria threw her children into the river, witnessing their drowning as they disappeared downstream. When Maria regained her senses, she desperately searched the riverbank for her children, but they were nowhere to be found. Consumed by grief, she ran through the streets, screaming and wailing uncontrollably for her lost children. Eventually, overcome with sorrow, Maria was found dead by the same riverbank where she had ended her sons' lives. Upon reaching the gates of heaven, she was questioned about her children's whereabouts, but she had no answer. As a result, she was denied entry into the afterlife and condemned to spend eternity between the realm of the living and the land of the dead, forever searching for her lost children. Legend has it that she was then seen on the banks of the Santa Fe River, looking for children to drown so that others might experience the same pain and loss that she was cursed to feel. Various versions attempt to explain the origin of La Llorona. One popular interpretation links her to the Aztec goddess Huicol, a snake woman associated with motherhood, fertility, and war. Huicol, often depicted dressed in white, was believed to roam the rivers, moaning and weeping to warn the people of the invading conquistadors. In some stories, Maria's husband is portrayed as a Spanish conquistador who abandons her, leaving her to care for their children alone. In certain versions, Maria is even seen as the interpreter and concubine of Hernán Cortés, the famous Spanish conquistador who led the expedition resulting in the fall of the Aztec Empire. Maria, shamed and rejected by her own people, seeks revenge by killing Cortés's children. There are other variations of the story that are more ambiguous, simply suggesting that Maria was abandoned by a Spanish lover. Interestingly, Maria is not always depicted as the victim of a troubled marriage. Some stories present her as a vain woman who neglects her children while indulging in a life of parties and excess. One fateful night, upon returning home, she discovers that both of her sons have drowned. As punishment for her neglect, she is cursed in the afterlife. The legends of La Llorona vary significantly, and sightings or claims of hearing her wails are not limited to the rivers of Mexico. Her behavior and targets also differ from region to region. Some believe she only drowns children, while others think she kills men as a result of her lost lover. There are even tales where she is far more ruthless, slaying anyone who crosses her path, regardless of age or gender. As with most urban legends, there are wild stories surrounding La Llorona. In 1986, in Houston, Texas, a woman named Juana attempted to kill her 7 children by throwing them into the Buffalo Bayou. When questioned by the authorities, she claimed to believe she was La Llorona. Further investigation revealed that she was a victim of severe domestic violence, driven to end her suffering and that of her children. Tragically, 2 of her children lost their lives in this disturbing incident. Another story involves a boy who frequently argued with his mother. After a particularly heated argument, the boy and his brothers left their ranch and traveled to Santa Fe in a carriage. Upon reaching the riverbank, they encountered a tall, thin woman dressed in white with a black veil covering her face. Suddenly, she appeared in the carriage, wedging herself between the brothers, leaving them speechless and petrified. When the brothers decided to turn around and head home, she turned to them and warned that if they continued to argue with their mother, she would visit them again. The boys heeded La Llorona's warning, respecting their mother from that day forward, for fear that their next encounter with the weeping woman would be far less friendly. There are also accounts of people claiming to have encountered La Llorona in their dreams, where she removes her veil, signifying that she has chosen them to join her in the afterlife, searching for her children. The thought of being chosen by her is chilling, as it could mean being cursed for eternity. While I cannot personally speak about the experience of growing up with these stories since I have never been to Mexico and do not identify as Hispanic, it is evident that La Llorona holds a significance beyond being just a ghost story. Superstitions surrounding her have been passed down through generations in Latin America. Despite serving as a cautionary tale to prevent children from venturing out late at night, it seems that encounters with La Llorona are not uncommon. It is intriguing to observe the similarities between La Llorona and other legends from different cultures. In Greek mythology, both Lamia and Medea have similar narratives, involving scorned women who ultimately end up harming children. Additionally, the notion of La Llorona as a warning of danger aligns with Irish myths surrounding the Banshee, who shares a somewhat similar appearance. These stories suggest that La Llorona may share common threads with European myths, possibly influenced by the Europeans during their expeditions. However, the truth behind La Llorona's origins remains unknown. In conclusion, La Llorona represents more than just a ghost story. She embodies a superstition deeply ingrained in Latin American culture, passed down through generations. Despite her role as a cautionary tale, her presence and the accounts of encounters with her suggest a deeper belief in her existence. The widespread prevalence of similar stories across different cultures is remarkable, from Greek mythology to Irish legends. The intertwining narratives hint at shared themes and archetypes, leaving us to ponder the possibility of cross-cultural influences. Whether La Llorona is a cautionary tale or a terrifying legend, she continues to captivate the imagination and evoke a sense of unease. The stories surrounding her highlight the power of folklore in shaping beliefs and transmitting cultural values. As we explore these legends, we come to appreciate the rich tapestry of storytelling that connects us across time and place.